Making playlists is hard. You've got to consider your objective. If you're trying to just get people to stick around as long as possible and just, listen without leaving, then I think you want to put the best stuff first, order best to worst. But if you expect your audience to be listening for a while, meaning your audience is captive to a degree, then maybe you just want to leave the best overall impression. In which case, just give every person $100 and call it a day. What, you're broke? You can't afford that? Well, shit. No, okay, we can work with that. Now, psychology says that people remember experiences according to the peak end rule. That is, they remember the most intense part of the experience, but also how it ended. Now, if you know people will be listening to your entire playlist, I'd go with the relay race order. In a relay race, there are multiple people on a team, and each one hands off a baton, a pipe, to the next person in their team after they finish their lap. A classic strategy for these kinds of races is to start with the second best runner on the team and work down to the worst runner. That helps you get off to a good start. Then there's less pressure for each subsequent runner. They just have to maintain that lead. But you end with the very best runner because they're in the best position to make up time if you're behind the other team. So I like that order for leaving a good impression. Start with your second best, decline to your worst, but then finish with your very best. If you have to fill an unknown amount of time though, that doesn't work so well. Instead, I'd rather start with a middling pick and then work worst to best. That way the peak of the experience is at least something average because that's what you start with. And depending on how far you get through the rest of your picks, on average, you'll end on something average. So the end experience will be okay too, but it gets better over time. If I want to deliver a consistent quality, I go with an interleaved order. That's where you sort your list worst to best, then work from the middle out to the ends. The 2-item average will always be the same, but you end on the best thing. This is particularly good for a diverse audience because even if half the people are so different in taste that they look at your list sorted worst to best and think it's sorted best to worst, it works out almost the same. And your audience is a pretty big factor. The more uncertain you are about your audience, the more you should vary your content and try to keep each item in the playlist short so that if somebody gets really triggered by a pick, at least it doesn't last that long. If you're trying to be conservative and please the grumpiest people, then you're better off with non-vocal or non-English media or more abstract things. Like for music, film, TV, or game soundtracks tend to be pretty safe. If you go with media and artists that are pretty unknown, then you don't have to worry about people having pre-existing biases as a result of news stories or radio exposure or whatever. Also, it's good to remember that people are suckers when it comes to nostalgia. So if you know your demographic, just pick stuff that came out when they were starting high school and you pretty much can't lose. Or if you want to be really safe, just project a Rorschach test and play white noise. It works every time.